So for this kind of question, when you're dealing with a graph, the key is to really find the place where the line goes through the points more or less exactly. So you've got to find points on the graph where the line goes through. Another way of saying exactly the same thing. Because the line, if we go there now to the actual line, if you see the line, notice that it's going through. This is not a point, that's not an even point, I should say. That's not an even point, it's a fraction or a decimal. Neither is that, it's just off of the point. So the two places, even 0, 0, the line is not really actually going through 0, 0. So you'd be dealing with some very imprecise calculations if you were going to get the slope from that point. So what we want to deal with is a place where the line actually goes right through an even or whole number, and for the coordinates. So the coordinates there are whole numbers, and the coordinates there are whole numbers, and we're going to deal with those 2 points, and I'm going to label them. This is x1, y1, right? Because it's the first of 2 points going left to right, and this is x2, y2. Simple as that. That's just saying this is 1 point, that's 2. Simple as that. Point 1, point 2. Now we actually have to calculate the slope. Well, what is the formula for slope? I know you know it, and remember there are actually 2 versions of this, but it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, or for some of you who like to do it this way, m equals y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. So those are 2 versions of the same thing, slope. We use those to actually calculate it with those 2 points, and now you really see why you need to have points that are whole numbers. So we're dealing with x1, y1, that right here, if you start with 0, is -1, 2, -3, and 1. So this is -3, 1. And then the x component here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and -2, because it goes down 2. So 5 and -2. Those are your coordinates. And that's what we plug into the formula. X1, Y1, I'm going to use this one just because it's right here and it's easy to work with. They're interchangeable, you got to get used to both of them. But basically, Y1 minus Y2 would be 1 minus -2. That's a double negative. You'll see in a moment. You've got to remember your integers and subtracting integers. And then X1 minus X2 is -3 minus 5. So -3 minus 5, and we get 1 plus 2 because a negative and a negative combine to be plus. When you're subtracting a negative, it's actually adding 2. That's -3 plus -5. -3 plus -5. So, because you add the opposite with integers, and then to finish it off, we get 3 over -8, and that is our answer. That's our slope. We calculated it using a formula for slope, and we are, again, using 2 points that we can find that go evenly through whole numbers on the line that we're dealing with, and then simply put it in your formula. You really need, some of you, to review subtracting integers. It's actually the one thing that can be the hardest thing for students to get the right answer, and it's frustrating. I understand it's frustrating because you know how to do it. You know how to substitute numbers in, you figured it out from the graph, you understand the difference between x1, y1 and x2, y2. So you understand all these things, and then if you miscalculate it because you haven't practiced your integers, it's very frustrating. And I empathize with that. What's your answer? Is go home, practice integers. And if you're not at home, you can do it on the bus. Make up some questions. It's very simple. Just -5 minus 3. What is that? That's -5 plus -3. It's -8. That's a whole other set of videos, and I encourage you to watch them and practice them. Good luck.